Jai Hind everyone. The topic which we are going to discuss, flowchart for the first semester students. The thing is that this topic has not been covered in your syllabus, but sometimes it has been seen that questions come from this part. Algorithm we have already discussed. So now today we are going to discuss the flowchart concept. So what is the basic objective? It is able to define a problem, that is, with the help of a flowchart you provide a solution to a problem which you are being solving. And the meaning of flowchart we will discuss. What is the meaning of flowchart? It is nothing, it is a flow of your sequence, or rather the sequence, that how from one step to another step you are going through. Then we will discuss explain the need of a flowchart. What are the different symbols used in flowchart? As we have seen in algorithm, it is written in English language, but in the case of the flowchart, we use the symbols to show the flow, the sequence within a program. Then we will see few examples through which we are going to solve the solution problems. Let's discuss a case where one person, it wants to go to a bank, and that person wants to withdraw the money. After knowing the balance in his account, she decide that how much amount he wants to withdraw, whether he wants to withdraw the whole amount or a small fraction of money, so that it can leave the minimum, because we are aware that within a bank we need certain minimum amount in our account. So at this particular activity, this is a problem, that is how much money I want to withdraw after checking the balance in a bank. So here what we are deciding, how much amount that person wants to withdraw from the account, and this is the basic intelligence. During the process of solving any problem, one tries to find the necessary steps to be taken in the sequence. So in this case, what is happening, what we are trying to do, we are trying to withdraw the money. So what's the sequence of the steps? In this case, the person goes to a bank, he logged it into his account, that is, he give the details of his account to the person. Then after that, he will check the balance, what is the amount he wants to withdraw from the bank. After checking the balance, he will check, okay, this is the minimum amount, so minimum balance minus minimum. So this is the amount which he wants to withdraw. After analyzing these things, he will withdraw the amount and then log out from the system. So this is the step which that person will follow. So what is a flow chart? In algorithm, we have seen the sequence of these steps, but once we are talking in terms of a flow chart, so it says this is the flow, that is from this step to this step, then this step, then this step. So this is the flow of sequence. So in a flow chart, what we are doing, we are just showing these flow of sequence in a diagrammatical form. So flow chart, it is a diagram which visually presents the flow of data through processing systems. That is how the data is moving from one step to another step. This means by seeing the flow chart, one can know the operations performed and the sequence of these operations in a system. That is, what kind of operations, that is in the case of a banking system, first the person checked the balance. On the basis of this, he decide how much amount. After that, he withdrew the balance amount in this case. So these are the operations which a person is performing, and in which sequence this will be done, it is also shown in the flow chart. So algorithms, they are also a sequence of steps for solving the problems. So a flow chart can be a representation of an algorithm, but in a diagrammatical part. So a flow chart will describe the operations which are required to solve a problem along with the sequence of these steps. So a flow chart, it is a type of a diagram that represents an algo, workflow or process. The flow chart, it shows the steps as boxes of various kind. That is, we are using the symbols. For example, this, this, this. These are the various symbols which we are going to use in flow chart. And we are connecting these symbols with the help of arrows. These diagrammatic representation illustrate a solution model to a given problem. Flowcharts, they are used in analyzing, designing, documenting or managing a process or programs in various fields. So now we will see what are the building blocks of flowchart or the common symbols of a flowchart. In a flowchart symbols, we are having various representations. In this particular slides, we are following the representation which has been given by ANSI, that is American National Standard Institute. This particular organization, it has provided the standards for flowchart and their symbols in 1960s. The International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO, it adopted the ANSI symbols in 1970. The current standards, they were revised in 1985. Generally, the flowcharts flow from top to bottom and left to right. So the very first symbol is my arrow, and the name of this symbol is flow line or the arrowhead. What it does, it shows the process order of operation, that is in which particular order the flow is going on. So a line coming from one symbol and pointing to another. So in this case, what is happening? We are having one symbol here and another symbol here, one symbol here and another symbol here. Arrowheads are added if the flow is not the standard top to bottom and left to right, because we have seen in that generally the flow is in this direction or left to right. But if my sequence got changed, for example, I am going again to this particular symbol, then I need to show the arrow. Now this symbol, which is also known by the name terminal symbol. So what it does, it indicates the beginning and ending of a program or a sub-process, represented as a stadium, oval or rounded rectangle. They usually contain the word start or end or stop, or another phrase signaling the start or end of a process, for example, submit, inquiry or receive the product. As we have seen in the algorithm, the very first step is start and the last step is stop. Now, when we are showing this step in the flow chart, we are using the terminal symbol. It could be my oval or it could be my rectangle with rounded edges. Generally, we go with the oval. Now this is the rectangle, this shape, but it represents a process. So it represents a set of operations that changes value, form or location of a data. It is represented as a rectangle. That is, whatever computation you are doing, you will show this computation in this symbol. For example, x is equals to 3 plus 2. Now this is a rhombus symbol, this is a diamond symbol, and it is basically used for making a decision. Decision where you take a decision when there is a if else kind of thing, or when you are putting the looping. So in that case, you use this particular symbol. So it shows a conditional operation. That is, instead of following a sequence, what we are doing, we are changing this on the basis of certain decision, and then we are deciding whether we want to go in this direction or whether we want to go in this direction, depending upon the condition specified within this symbol. So it shows a conditional operation that determines which one of the two paths the program will take. The operation is commonly yes, no or true, false and represented as a diamond symbol. So we could say if this condition is true, we will move in this direction. If the condition is false, then we will move in that direction. This symbol is basically parallelogram. This particular symbol is being used for input or output. What it indicates? It indicates the process of inputting and outputting the data as an interest data or displaying the results represented as a parallelogram. That is, we have seen in the previous example, that is x is equals to 3 plus 2. Now I want to display this sum. That is, we will use this symbol and we will use print or display or output, whatever you want to use. And then what we want to print? We want to print x in this case. This particular symbol in ANSI is used for annotation or for commenting. It indicates additional information about a step of the program, represented as an open rectangle with a dashed or solid line connecting it to the corresponding symbol in the flowchart. If we want to provide an additional you could say explanation for a particular step, then for that step you will use this symbol. This symbol is known as predefined process or functions. When, for example, you have created a flowchart for the sum operation. Now in another flowchart you want to call that function sum in your program. Then what you will do? You will use this symbol for calling the functions. So it shows the named process or function which is defined elsewhere. It is represented as a rectangle with double struck vertical edges. It is important that is only the vertical edges they are double and the horizontal edges they are being shown as single. This is on-page connector, that is the circle. For the start and stop, what we have done? We have used the oval. But once for example, in one page, this is page 1, this is page 2. And my flow chart, it is flowing from this page to this page. Then how I will show the connectivity? I will show the connectivity with this symbol, that is on page connector. Here I will write, for example, A, and before starting writing my flow chart in this page, I will use the same connector and then my flow chart will continue from here. So it pairs of labeled connector. It is important that this is always used in pairs because you are connecting two pages or you are connecting two diagrams which are interrelated to each other. So it is a pair of labeled connectors which replace long or confusing lines on a flowchart page, represented by a small circle with a letter inside. This letter, it could be in uppercase alphabets, it could be your lowercase alphabets, or it could be 1, 2, 3, whichever option you want to use. But it always contains letters, and these letters, they should be same. Why? Because for instance, this is my P3 and now my flow chart is again running on this page, because flow chart, it is a set of symbols. So when you put a symbol on a paper, then in that case, sometimes it consumes the space. So what will happen? Maybe the possibility it will run to third page. Then what will happen? Now you will again create a connector with another letter, that is B in this case. And in this case, again, I am having the letter B and it is going to be same. This is off-page connector. Off-page connector, it is the labeled connector for use when the target is on another page, represented as a home plate shaped pentagon. Now this is for the storage or the backup, that is magnetic tape used for secondary storage or backup. For example, you are taking the output on a backup, storing the output on a backup, then in that case you will use this symbol. This is again for the storage or the backup, and this is for the magnetic disk. This is tertiary, when you want to take the backup on a tertiary device, that is magnetic tapes, and this is when you are using your hard disk, that is on your system. When you want to take the backup, then in that case you will use this symbol. So we have discussed the flow chart is used for representing the algorithm in pictorial form. So this pictorial representation of a solution or a system is having many advantages. What are these? Communication, effective analysis, documentation of program or system, efficient program maintenance, coding of the program. Let's discuss one by one. Communication. So a flowchart can be used as a better way of communicating the logic of a system, because once you are writing the steps, sometimes understanding those English words or the full meaning of a particular sentence, it becomes difficult, and sometimes it produces a double meaning to different programmers. Maybe programmer 1 assumes some other meaning of that sentence and programmer 2 assumes some other meaning of that sentence. So in this case, the pictorial representation, it avoids such kind of ambiguities. Effective analysis. A flowchart of a problem can be used for effectively analyzing the problem. Documentation. Program flowcharts are a vital part of a good programming documentation. In software engineering, we see a huge use of flowcharts. The program document is used for various purposes like the components, knowing the components in the program, complexity of the program, etc. Efficient program maintenance. Once a program is developed and it becomes official, then in that case it needs the time for the maintenance purpose. So with the help of the flow chart, maintenance become easier because you are aware that which processes are changing or which require the changes. So you just make the changes in the flow chart and accordingly make changes in your coding. Any design of solution of a problem is finally converted into the coding. So writing coding while referring the flow chart, it becomes quite easy. But flow chart is having its limitations also. Number one is complexity of logic. If program logic is complex, then flow chart of the program, it becomes very complicated, because then you need to break down into subprograms. Alterations and modifications in logic. Any alterations in the program logic may require redrawing the flowchart completely. Then the reuse is not possible. As the flowchart symbols cannot be typed, always reproduction of flowchart symbols are required. So let's start with few examples. Now this is the very first example where we are drawing a flowchart to find the simple interest. So what we are using this symbol for the start and stop. Then we need to input and display the number. So here we have used the parallelogram, and the computation part we are showing with the help of rectangle. So we are starting, then we are inputting your principal, rate and the time, then putting this thing into the formula, SI formula, and then displaying the result of SI. So this is a simple flow chart where we are finding the simple interest. And if you look here, the flow chart sequence is the flow of this chart is in a sequential manner. That is, no branching has been used because no branching is required in this particular problem statement. Now if you look here, in this problem statement, we do require the branching. That is this concept. So here, what we are doing, we are drawing a flow chart to find the bigger number among two numbers that we need to make a selection. Then we will input two numbers and then we make a decision and for the decision we are using the diamond symbol. And here we are making the decision, is A is greater than B or not. If A is greater than B, then we are moving to this logic, to this branch, that is print A is big. If B is big, so the answer is no of this particular condition in that case. So what we are doing, we are moving to this branch and then we are printing B is big, and after that we are terminating to the end of the program. So both these branches, they will culminate or terminate at the symbol stop. This is another example where we are drawing a flow chart to find the factorial of any number. So again, factorial of any number, that is 1 into 2 into 3 up to n. We are aware of this formula. So here what we are doing, first we are inputting the number n, then we are initializing two variables. Again it is a process. So it comes in your rectangle, I is equals to 1 and f is equals to 1. With the help of the I, we are, because now this concept, what it require a looping. It is, so again for the looping, for the condition part, we need to make a decision. So this looping is being controlled with the variable I. So here we are checking, is I is less than or equal to n. If it is, then this imply we need to make a computation, that is f is equals to f into I. Then we are incrementing the your control variable, that is I is equals to I plus 1. And then again we are not moving to the stop part. What we are doing, we are again moving to this logic and checking now what is the condition. Is I becomes greater than n, or still it is less than or equal to n. If it is still less than or equal to n, again we will move to this logic and again the computation would be done. Again we will move here, and so this is a loop part has been created here. When it becomes greater, then in that case what will happen, that is no, that is we have reached to the final answer. Now we will display the answer that has been stored in the variable f, and after that my logic comes to end. So here we have used the symbol stop. So this is a simple flow chart. Let's move to another sample. Draw a flow chart to find biggest number among n numbers. Now I am having a list of n numbers, and among those numbers I need to find which one is the biggest. So this is the logic. Input the number, that is how many numbers I want. Then input n. Then I will input a. If I is equals to 1, then big is equals to a, because there is only one number. What decision you will make it? You will say, okay, big is equals to a in this case, and then after we will, is I is less than equal to n. If it is I is equal to, that is we are having only one number, we will print this and then our logic, it comes to stop. But what will happen if it is greater than? Then we need to input another number. So in that case what will happen? We will input another number. Again we have stored that number in the same variable, that is a. And now we are checking with this. If it is, which one is big? Which one is large? You could say big or a. If your number big, this is small, then in that case what will happen? If this logic if this condition becomes true, then we will move to the yes part, and what we will do, we will say, okay, big is equals to a and I is equals to I plus 1, and then we will move here and again check whether we want to check with the number or not. If it is no, then what it says, still my big is a, and we will discard the a in this case, because big is larger number. So we just increment the number, that is I is equals to I plus 1. And again we will move to here. Now again we will check the condition. Let's say we want to take another number. Again, we will take that third number, check with this. If this is a small, then what will happen? Big becomes my new number. Otherwise, big remains same, unchanged, and we will increment only the I variable up to when your I is greater than n. Up to that, your loop will continue. After that, you will print the big, and then we will say, okay, stop. So this is the logic to find. So in this case, if you see flow, now my algorithm, it becomes complex. I'm taking decision at 2 points, at this point, and this and this is how the complexity got introduced in your flowchart. Sometimes what will happen, you make multiple decisions and you are having 4 or 5 diamonds in your program. Then in that case, your flowchart, it becomes very complicated. So a complex problem drawing a flowchart is a very tedious task. Let's suppose draw a flow chart to print the number from 1 to n. So how we will do? We will start, okay, then print the number from 1 to n. We are not aware the n. So what will happen? We will take the input, and after that we need a variable, because with the help of which we are checking the condition. Let's suppose I is equals to 1. We are starting. So here I is less than equal to n, because we want to go and print the number till n. So here, if the answer is yes, it is small, then what will happen? We will no computation. We will first display the number, and we will say print I. After that, we will do the computation. I is equals to I plus 1, and then again we check to the decision part. If the answer is no, we have print all the numbers, we will simply move to the stop part. So this is the logic for printing numbers from 1 to n. This is to find the area of a circle. Simple. We will start with start. Then we will input r. Then processing, that is area, equals to pi r square. And after then display a. And after that stop. So a simple sequence we have followed in this case. So these are the few examples which we have discussed so far. This is all about the flowchart. These are the references which I have used while preparing the slides. Thank you and Jai Hind.